Hey fellas, welcome back to the channel. I'm Big Fella, and I had a pretty crazy weekend. This weekend, Motor City Comic Con was in the Suburban Showplace near where I live, and if any of you are not familiar with it, for those of my viewers who are not from the good old Mitten State, Motor City Comic Con is the biggest pop culture convention in the state. It happens every year. It used to... excuse me. Thought I felt a burp coming on. It used to only happen in May, but after the pandemic, it started happening like a couple times a year. Like it comes in May, and then a few months later, it happens in November. I try to go whenever I can, but I will say this. Going to conventions can be really expensive. That is why I often save up money in my fun fund, as I like to call it. But it is worth it. The experience you get to have there is fantastic. You get to see a lot of cool stuff, ranging from cool prints made by some very talented artists who deserve every good piece of attention they get. Cool stuff that you could add to your man cave, like how I intend to add to this room in the future. But above all, the biggest thing that I have fun with in these conventions is having the chance to meet with actors and voice actors, many of whom have had a big impact on my creative aspirations, but also just entertained me with the shows that they've been in. This past weekend had a very big list of actors, and I went on the day when one special guest happened to be there. And if you're curious who that guest is, he's the very first actor who's played one of the Avengers I've met. Although technically, I guess not technically, but Jeremy Renner, played by Hawkeye. I bought an awesome print. I actually got a print. I'll have to show you guys. I mean, I can't show it with you right now because it's upstairs, but I'll post pictures of it on my channel later. It actually came with the purchase of my autograph, which is only about $100, which is totally fair because a lot of these A-list actors, they pay very good money. Well, not they pay very good money. They do cost a bit, but it's worth it for the experience. And you actually get to talk with them for a minute. I did meet him. He was the very last person I met before my friend and I had to go. But throughout the day, I met multiple people. I met Sholo Maraduena and Jacob Bertrand, who, if you guys aren't familiar with them, they play Miguel and Hawk from Cobra Kai. Those guys were the coolest. I actually got the chance to talk with both of them for a few minutes, and they were just great. It was like talking to it's like we were already buddies. Like we were talking about cool stuff. Like what do you want to do next? Like, is there any movies in the future that you'd want to be a part of? And I even got a signature on this collectible card that came with the special edition of Blue Beetle, which I bought specifically for this reason. And Sholo signed it, and it was awesome. I am going to treasure that moment forever. I didn't get a picture with Jacob. I mean, I didn't get an autograph from Jacob. However, I did get a selfie with him, and it's pretty crazy. I'm going to be posting it to my socials later. Check it out. I'm Big Fella. I'm almost every social media account. I also met a bunch of voice actors who you guys are probably familiar with, some of whom have been a big inspiration to me because that's one of my dreams, to be an actor like them or a voice actor like them. But the actors that I met met Sholo, and then I met Todd Haberkorn, the man who voiced Natsu Dragneel from Fairy Tail, and a bunch of different characters that I could go on about. I saw the banner that they had for him. He's done voiceover work in Scooby-Doo for Warner Brothers, Sony, especially Helldivers recently, Dragon Ball, Ben 10. I think I already said Scooby-Doo. Destiny 2. His resume is incredible. And I will say that getting the chance to meet him was a long time in the making because the very first time I went to a Comic-Con, specifically Motor City Comic-Con, was all the way back in 2017. Now, unfortunately, he was there, but the day I went there, he was sick, and I did not get the chance to meet him, and I was so bummed about that. But I got to meet him, I got to talk with him, I got to record a fun, awesome video with him, and they revealed that for everyone who like spends a certain amount of money, I won't specify it, but for everyone who spends a certain amount of money, they will be entered into a contest to potentially win a trip to New York City or Los Angeles. And I wish I'd asked for more details, but I think like I don't know if you would get the chance to hang out with voice actors like them or whatever, but I was able to enter. I entered my email, my phone number. I honestly I honestly was really excited to hear that. I mean, with how many people were in his line, I can imagine that quite a lot of people would be entered. But I like to believe that there is a chance. So wish me luck on that. Then after Todd, I met Colleen Clickenbeard. Actually, no, I'll get to her in a moment. But because these lines, guys, I kid you not, the lines for these conventions, for these voice actors who are so popular, they were insane. Because of how big Colleen Clickenbeard's line is, I thought, you know what? While I'm waiting, I'll go meet some other voice actors. A couple other voice actors that were there who you guys would probably be familiar with if you know of Chainsaw Man like I do, was Caitlin Barr, who voiced Himeno, everyone's favorite Cyclops lady who also loves to drink beer, and a lot of people say is a pedophile, but she's not, okay? It's anime, and she was heavily influenced by oh my god. But it was crazy how that their lines, Todd and Colleen's, were so insane. And Caitlin's booth, a lot of the booths behind, like further back, were basically untouched. Were basically empty. So I was able to go up to her and I had 3 things signed. 2 anime cover arts for the DVDs and My Hero poster, which I will show to you guys one day if you're nice and you ask nicely. One anime that I showed her, it's called Cross-Ange. I'll have to get into that another day. But I showed it to her and I said, I don't know if you remember working on this. And her eyes lit up and she says, Cross-Ange, I remember this. And she said I was filling her with all this nostalgia. And I'm just like, I'm surprised that you remember working on this. And she says, oh yes, she even mentioned that her role in that anime was one of the first in her career. And I'm like, well, I'm glad I was able to bring that up to you. And I talked with her for a little bit and I told her that you guys inspire me to keep doing, like, putting my voice out there. And she inspired me and said, keep going. If you're passionate about it, go for it. And I am. I'm going to keep doing it. I mean, especially with YouTube. I'm able to share this stuff with you guys. And none of you guys have made fun of my voice yet, so that's a good sign. Then I met Nazi Tarsha. If you guys aren't familiar with him, he's a voice actor who's been in a bunch of anime as like lesser known characters or supporting characters. But he was in Genshin Impact. He was one of the bad guys. Well, I'm pretty sure they were all bad guys in Hell's Paradise. But most recently, he was the lead of Kafka Hibino in Kaiju number 8. I didn't get a signature of that, although I wish I had. But the one that I saw was of his Gundam for his character in The Witch from Mercury, and it just looks so cool. I got that. I talked with them, and then I went back and met Colleen. And her line was a little crazy, but my friend, and I thank her for this, I've thanked her every day since, she waited in line while I actually went into the line for Bryce Dallas Howard. If you aren't familiar with her, she played Claire in Jurassic World, Master Yaddle in Tales of the Jedi. She's been in Black Mirror, Argyle, the 355. That's just to name the movies. But I also know her as Gwen Stacy from Spider-Man 3. And I had my Spider-Man, the video game, cover art. And I told her, now I know that you didn't play in this game and that Gwen Stacy isn't even in it, but you're the first Gwen Stacy actress I've met, so I thought it was appropriate. And she's like, oh, that's fine. She did, and we got a selfie together, and I quoted one of her roles from a movie, and I caught her off guard, and she says, that, I don't even remember that. And I said, it's one of my favorite roles. So she was really, really nice. I got the chance to talk to her. She's great. Then I finally managed to go over to Colleen, and I waited for about a half hour. I mean, depending on how crazy those lines are, they can go pretty good or pretty bad. But I was able to go in. I met her, and I talked with her, and I told her that she's one of my biggest inspirations to wanting to be a voice actor. And she told me a lot of what Caitlin Barr told me. Just put your mind to it. And like she said, that keep doing what you're doing. Because I told her that I've been working on myself. I've attended a few workshops, and she says, you're on the right track. Just keep believing in yourself. And I told her, I mean, I can only imagine how crazy it is because she's voiced Monkey D. Luffy in One Piece for the last 20 years. And she says, well, that was all luck. And I'm like, well, what a lucky break it was. But yeah, she was great. I'll have to post the selfies that I have with everyone. Then, while I was waiting, because I had to wait a little bit before the autograph group, to meet Jeremy Renner happened, I did get to meet William Salyers. And if you're not familiar with him, he's everyone's favorite trash-talking raccoon, Rigby, from Regular Show. But I also know him as Doc Ock from the Spider-Man video game. I got to talk with him, and I did ask, because I heard that there's a revival in the works for Regular Show. He told me, I can't tell you much. I'm like, oh, I completely understand. You guys got to keep it all hush-hush. But he said, if you liked the original, you will like this show. And I said, believe me, we don't get shows like Regular Show anymore. A lot of the stuff we have nowadays isn't that good. He's like, I absolutely agree with you. So he was awesome. Then later, my group and I, we were actually able to get in to meet Jeremy Renner. And it was like a well-oiled machine. Like, we were able to get in pretty quickly. But I did manage to talk with him for a moment. I just said, I asked him, would you prefer if I call you Jeremy or Mr. Renner? He's like, oh, you can call me Jeremy. But I told him, I just want to say your story of how he survived the accident. I didn't know if it was appropriate, but I just thought I should tell him. Your story inspires me so damn much, and you are one of my heroes. And he said, thank you, brother. And he gave me a fist bump. So that was a great moment for me. I'll have to take I'll have to take pictures and show you guys like most of the stuff that I got, the autographs and all that. But overall, it was a fantastic experience, and I will remember it. I may or may not go to the one in November because I'm already going to an anime convention in the Suburban Showplace in August, which is the same place where Motor City is held. But overall, it's a fun time. Do you guys ever want me to like share personal stories of my experiences at conventions? If you do, please let me know. Or what topics you want me to cover next, whether it be video games, movies, whatever. Just let me know because I'd love to hear from you. And hit me up for any ideas for Big Fella Plays. As always, I'm Big Fella. I'll see you next time.